another game in the SEC that I want to talk about. I'm gonna go with Tennessee first because I think Tennessee is back. Like I'm cautiously optimistic about what we saw against Kentucky, and here's why. Tell me what you think about this. So we've talked over and over and over about how the big concern for this team is they don't have that alpha. They don't have that go-to guy. I called him the Band-Aid man, right? They don't have that guy that can stop the bleeding when you need.
I like that term.
They hit you like that.
It's tough.
And we've been waiting for one of Jaden Springer or Keon Johnson to kind of develop into that guy. On Saturday night was the first time we saw both of them just absolutely take over a game. Yeah. They were so good in the final 8 minutes, and they were great for the entire second half. Keon Johnson had 27. Jaden Springer had 23. Like they looked every bit the part of like these great potential lottery picks. And look, I know Kentucky sucks. I'm not saying that they're good. But it's like you have to start somewhere, right? Like you can't just I was on with Dane Bradshaw on like the Big Volin pod, and he was like, against Ole Miss at the end of the game, with down by 2 on the last possession, Keon Johnson took the ball, drove right to the rack, went up and drew a foul. Goes to the free throw line, 3.5 seconds less, down 2, bricks his first free throw. And he's like, it's disappointing that he missed that shot, but it's very, very important that he took that free throw and he got that free throw. Because because you have to learn, like you don't just like wake up being like a go-to guy that can handle these. Like you want to have a guy learn how to what it takes to take over a game. You want him to understand that he can do it in those situations, and you want him to know the experience of like having pressure free throws in bars. So like it was bad for that moment, but it's good. It was good for his growing process. That's what Dane was saying, and I agree with that. And so it's not just that we saw them take over, but it's also that we saw them do it while Rick Barnes went with the small lineup. And I think what he has to do moving forward is play Eves at the 5, play Josiah Jordan James at the 4, get Keon and Jaden on the wings, and then get like Victor Bailey and Santi Vescovi out there and kind of roll through like their 4 wings and keep Eve at the 5. Like spreads the floor, creates driving lanes. John Fulkerson has not been very good this year. It takes him out of the paint, clogging things up. Take EJ Anasicki out of the paint, clogging things up. And then just let your guards go out and make plays. Like I think that's kind of what you have to do. So I think we kind of saw it all come to fruition on Saturday night in the second half. But again, the huge thing for me was that Keon and Jaden stepped up, put what's the line from that? Remember that old YouTube video? He put the team on his back, though. Ray Jennings. He put the team on his back. That's what Keon Johnson did. He put the team on his back.
He definitely did, man. I was like super impressed with that team. I was super impressed with the win, like more or less how they won. It's funny. I traded Keon Johnson, and then he has this game. I have to see if I can get him back. But now, Tennessee scouting report initially was kind of shaky in the first half because it seemed like they were like, all right, we're gonna live with Kentucky just hoisting up threes. Like we'll make sure we keep them out of the paint area, and if they get shots, we'll live with it. And Kentucky made shots. So, but the thing is, Tennessee was so like physical. Like at one point, like Lance Ware and Anasicki got into it. They ended up getting double fouls. Like Tennessee was like super physical the entire time. They were like at the bonus like with 14 minutes left and shit like that. Like they were beating Kentucky up. And then it led to into the second half. They kept that same thing, and Kentucky and then were going back into it. But then Kentucky started getting more and more fouls, and then I had to take a little step back. They weren't as aggressive. So now they weren't as aggressive. They weren't shooting. They didn't play as well the second half as they did the first half. And now it was impossible to keep like I think they said something along the lines of Springer and Johnson. They had 12 points straight together, and then they had a 12-0 run themselves later on. Like they were unstoppable in the second half to the point where they couldn't keep Springer out of transition or the paint. Like he did anything he wanted. Johnson caught the ball on the like kind of the wing corner area, in and out, cross, drive, dunks. Like they did whatever they wanted in the paint, and they didn't even shoot the ball well from beyond the arc during this game. But they beat Kentucky in everything else. Almost.
Yeah, I mean that's so to me like this is not proof that Tennessee's back, right? Or back to
Yeah.
being whatever I thought they were. But this
But
is the
it's a good
step.
track, though. Yes.
This is the direction that they needed to take. This is the step that they needed to take. This is who they needed to be. Now we're not going to be able to see him on Wednesday against Florida because Florida has more COVID issues. But next Saturday they're playing LSU at LSU, and that's going to be the game where it's like, okay, you know, if Tennessee's back, if Tennessee is going to be a team that is legitimately in the mix for the SEC, like I guess they're not going to beat Alabama out, but in the mix for second place in the SEC, legitimately like a second weekend Elite Eight kind of a team. You go into LSU and you beat them up. That's what you do this year.
Who do you have that game?
Who do I think Tennessee will win? Like,
why would Tennessee will. I think they have. I think there's
why
so
am I
much
going to
more.
pick it?
I was just curious. I just want to say because I think I think Tennessee is too disciplined. I think LSU is going to get into like letting the kids just go out there. And,
yeah, I've rolled with it for this long, man. Like I'm not jumping off the bandwagon now.
I just want to make sure. I want to see where you are. That's all. I've seen you move a little bit sometimes. You know, sometimes you move. So I just want
to say. Only when impressed by Robbie. That's it. All right, so I guess like we got to talk about Ayo and that performance that he had against Wisconsin. Like 21 points, 12 boards, 12 assists, third triple double in program history.
Yeah.
So the thing that really threw me was like the live dribble passing that he was like the passes that he made.
Yeah.
Like he had a couple in the second half where he comes off a ball screen going right and he's going full steam ahead towards the paint and just throws a no look, one hand fucking frozen rope to Trent Frazier in the opposite corner. And like that is such a high level. I mean, you could attest this to that is such a high level pass that not only being able to make that read, but to come off the live dribble, like and just snap it like that right on the money. Like that's and get it there. Like it's such a high level pass, and Ayo, like I just love Ayo so much.
Facts.
And I don't understand. Like I think Illinois has the best inside outside combo in college basketball with Ayo and Kofi. I think that when they're able to hide Kofi on the defensive end like they were against Wisconsin, they are as dangerous as any team in college basketball. I think that they have the guards to be able to match up at least size wise with Baylor and Gonzaga moving forward.
Yeah.
But like they can get to a Final Four. Like I don't know if they can win a national title, but they can absolutely get to a Final Four and they can play with Gonzaga and Baylor. We've seen them play with Baylor. Mm-hmm. But like the bigger thing to me is Ayo. Like I don't understand. I see him in second round of draft boards and I don't get it. Like I don't understand what NBA teams are looking for out of him. He's 6'5". He's got the wingspan. He's got the work ethic. He's shooting 41% from three this year. He's got the pass. Like we know he's got the passing in his bag, right? We know he's a clutch shot maker. Like I don't, for the life of me, understand like why would if you give me Ayo Dosunmu in like the late 20s, like that is to me that's a steal. You're getting a guy that's going to help an NBA team right away. I don't understand why people have him in the second round.
I mean, they could have him there. I don't think that he'll go there. So. It's like that. Like especially once they get into workouts and so on and so, like you'll see. Like I can't see him going into the second round. He's a first rounder. Like he does too much, and and on that team he does too much. And now you'll have him on a team with pros around him. His job, the job that he has in Illinois, when he goes to the pros, like he doesn't have to do as much. All he has to do is the things that he can do now. He doesn't have to sit there and worry about friggin' doing a ton of rebounding. He'll still rebound, but he won't have to worry about doing a ton of those things. And like you just focus on coming off ball screens, making plays for himself and his team, being the great playmaker that he is, and being amazing in transition. Like he'll focus on those things, and he'll be fine. Like
so yeah. If you were going to tell me that that the concern you have is that he's a ball dominant lead guard in college, I don't know if he's necessarily talented enough to be a ball dominant lead guard at the NBA level. So you're concerned about him having to kind of play like a complementary role off the ball, and you don't buy the jump shot, don't buy the catch and shoot stuff. Then like, okay, I get it. I get it. And that's part of the reason why, like, I'm not saying why the guy that's averaging 22, 6, and 5 for a top 5 team in college basketball, that's why he's going late second round. It's because of those things. It's baked into the price of what you're paying for him as a draft pick, right? Like if he was a great catch and shoot guy, like he'd be a top 10 pick.
He wouldn't be back.
He wouldn't be in college right now.
Talking about him today. Like,
yeah. So it's baked into the price. So I just don't get it, man. I love Ayo.
Nah, but
I think I'm an Ayo stand. Like he's so good, man.
no, he's very good, man. It's also good to see like a great basketball player like him, a great college basketball player like him, be such a like a really good guy as well. Like he's all around. Like so, I'm happy to see him doing well. That game, bro, was insane. Like they tried at least 3 or 4 different coverages on him. Like they had
none of them worked, man.
They had wall guarding him at one point. I was like, yo, they're doing everything. Like they had like they couldn't stop him. And then when Kofi got going early too, and you can't keep him from just manhandling you. Like it's only so much you can do. And I thought Wisconsin had enough guys to throw at Kofi to like slow it down a little bit. I thought they were going to put him in more ball screens than they did. Dimitri Trice had a solid game. I thought he played well. I just think he didn't put Kofi in as many ball screens as he could. I think,
but that's not what Wisconsin does. Like that.
Yeah, but
so I was thinking the same thing.
I just like I feel like as a coach, it's like, all right, I know this guy has trouble in ball screens, so why not put my best offensive ball screen player, my best perimeter player in ball screens to make it difficult for him. I feel like and that's why I can't blame Dimitri Trice for that. I feel like they got too much into the handoff stuff on the perimeter. And then all of a sudden you have somebody else with the damn basketball off of a ball screen. And Kofi sometimes didn't even have to, like, they didn't even get into it really. Like it was, and Kofi just murdered them on the offensive end. Just bullied them. Yeah. Like, it was bad.